Welcome to the Underground, the Steel City Underground, the black and gold standard for Pittsburgh Steelers coverage. Now, here's your host, Joe Kuzma and Brian E. Roach.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Steel City Underground podcast. My name is Joe Kuzma. I'm joined here to, I don't know, is it my left, my right, your left, my right, somewhere over there to the side, window number 2, screen 2, one, Mr. Brian E. Roach. There he goes. He's waving. Brian, you got enough screens over there?
No, there are more on, wait, let me think. This side. And then there's a big one over there, and there's some more. There's screens everywhere.
And there's
I don't have enough.
There's screens everywhere. Are you the type that, you know, you got Red Zone going, and then you got another game going? Because like when I watch the Steelers, I find that so damn distracting. Like I can't have the Steelers and other games going. But if it's like the Steelers are playing like a Sunday night game, for example, and it's Sunday at 1:00. I might have like Fox, CBS, Red Zone, NFL Network. I have a few of them going at the same time.
I never watch more than one thing at a time. So if these screens are not for viewing television stuff. These are all connected to computers. So they're computer screens. Now, that being said,
you could put video on them though.
I could, but I don't.
Okay.
If I was watching the Steelers, that's it. The Steelers is on, I'm watching the Steelers. If the Steelers isn't on, I'm watching Red Zone, and I don't watch anything else because you know what? I don't care. I don't really want to know everything else. I just want to know the good stuff.
Like when you get punter highlights or whatever with Red Zone. Well, you know, hey, I'm going to throw you a little curveball to our pregame preview here for Saturday. Steelers hosting at Acrisure, their only preseason game that's at home. 7 o'clock kickoff set for Saturday, August 16th. Local broadcast, KDKA TV, of course. That's CBS in Pittsburgh. If you get that or any of the local affiliates, check out our website at steelcityunderground.com. We do have, you know, pretty much the whole TV, radio, and everything else schedule that's posted there. Steelers Audio Network, of course, DVE. So you've got Bob Pompiani, Charlie Batch, and Missy Matthews on the TV call, Rob King, Max Starks, and Ramon Foster on the radio call, and that's about where it is. We're going to see what starters and who else is going to play, but before we get to that, Brian, maybe I'm going to go with maybe the worst. It's not even a take, but it's just like the dumbest thing that I've seen on social media in the last 24 hours, or at least since we've met. Andrew Filipponi saying there's a rumor out there now that since he's been released from the Miami Dolphins, and apparently the Steelers are a fan of picking up players from Miami this offseason or throughout this year, Odell Beckham Jr. is now available and might be trying out for the team. Yeah, that's the fart noises and everything else should start coming. We need like one of those. I need like one of those consoles where I could hit the no or something like that.
We need the whammy sound. Oh, no whammies, big bucks.
Yes.
Look, no. There you go. That's the answer. No, I don't buy it for a second. I can't even imagine there's a need to do due diligence on it, right? I mean, Odell Beckham Jr. hasn't been a thing in how many seasons now?
Well, I was looking that up. He's 32 years of age. He's November 5th. Wow, what's with those birthdays? You know, November 4th, November 5th. That's been landing in that area. It's within a week of mine, and my mom's on November 4th. But
and I'm November 21st.
Well, that's a little further off in the distance. So, you know, but
it's still November.
It's November. Not even the same zodiac sign, I don't think. But I mean, he's had a number of these two like here's since 2021. He split a year with the Browns and the Rams. We'd already said he was washed when he was with Cleveland. He did have a 1,000-yard receiving season there, but only 4 touchdowns. In fact, he hasn't had double-digit touchdowns since 2016. That is that's bad. You need a whammy noise for that. And he fails to stay healthy for the most part for a lot of the teams. We saw what happened. He got hurt with the Rams and then came back and whatnot. And then the Ravens, and he had played 14 games in 2023, but only caught 35 balls, 565 yards, 3 touchdowns in that offense. Miami last year appeared in 9 games. He was only targeted 18 times, 9 catches for 55 yards. He's over that age we say is age 31. It's like the kind of our Baskin-Robbins number, so to speak. Once you hit 31, once you're over 31, all bets are off as a wide receiver and probably a DB too, but really that wide receiver kind of, what do you want to say, where the line gets drawn when it comes to ages at that position and whether or not those players are still productive. So I don't really care if he wants to come in for, a pack of Cracker Jacks, probably not even 3 at this point. I'm not interested. I'm selling on the thought of Odell Beckham Jr. Just based on the rest of the talent on this roster. And training camp's already over. So this guy getting on a moving train and adding yet another personality to this locker room, just no, I don't want it.
This is my take. This is the epitome of a one play guy. One play has made his name, and that's it. As far as I'm concerned, he has not produced anything of massive note other than that one-handed ridiculous catch touchdown. That's it. That's the whole reason Odell Beckham Jr. is even a thing. And as I said, he hasn't actually been a thing in a long time. I pass. I 100% pass. How many years have I spent calling our current quarterback Mr. Overrated?
So when I saw
that's the definition of Mr. Overrated is Odell Beckham Jr.
You were the first person I thought of, not only because we were doing the show today, but I was sitting and I was making a coffee, which I desperately need one. There isn't enough on planet Earth today for me to drink. Apparently, I just got the pounding headache. I thought it was the caffeine fits over here, but as soon as I saw the Odell news, I said, imagine if the Steelers did sign him, and yet it's another player that Brian and I have to backtrack on. I still think he's washed.
Not backtracking on any of it.
No, I just don't think.
I will cheer for Aaron now. I still not happy he's here, but I'll cheer for him, and I will evaluate him based on what he gives the team. Mm-hmm. And if what he gives the team at the end of the year is something great, I'll go, hey, you know what? He had a good season. If it's crap, I'll go, it was crap.
Well, I've had a little more when it comes to, what do you want to say? My excitement has been piqued. My interest has been piqued.
This is because you are an eternal optimist.
No, it's not because I'm an eternal optimist.
The eternal optimist.
I saw the guy in person and I'm like, okay, there might be something there. There's a discernible difference between him and everyone else, and that's where we're at. Which of the Steelers starters are actually going to play this Saturday? We have to assume this is a dress rehearsal. They're not going to play on a short week Thursday in Carolina at the follow-up. You had 18 players who didn't 18, 16, I forget the number. There was a ton of them. A plethora of Pittsburghers that were not playing. Say that again. Last week.
Of Pittsburghers
plethora of Pittsburghers not playing. I wish it was the Panthers, because then that would have worked, but it was the Jaguars. But they didn't play against the Jaguars. So that means Mr. Aaron Rodgers gets his debut. He gets to wear Tina Rivers, our editor's favorite number 8. She's like gagging over the last few. She says that number's been cursed as of late. But this will be Rodgers' debut. I believe he's going to play 2 series. I think I give him 2 series. Even if they score on one of them, they definitely have a good showing on the second one. I think it'd be a stretch for him to go through 3, and then we've got to see what other players are handcuffed with him on that offense, as to see which of these players that sat out the previous game and are penciled in as, your week 1 starters, who's going to play in this game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
This is my opinion on who plays, how many series Aaron Rodgers plays. If it's a 10, 11, 8, 9 play drive resulting in a touchdown, I think he's done. If anything else happens, then I think he could play 2 series.
That seems fair enough. I'm trying to think who else you hitch your saddles to with this. Like DK Metcalf, I'm gonna probably put in the same category, right?
Yep.
Yeah, DK Metcalf. I think he's going to be tied to Rodgers. Let's see who else here. Tight ends: Pat Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith. I think they're pretty much tied to him as well, but they could get a little extra playing time maybe with Mason Rudolph. What do you think?
Especially if they don't get hit, right? If they don't get targeted, right? If Pat and Jonnu are not involved in whatever the first set of series, I'm sure Arthur Smith's going to try and get them involved. But let's say they have no catches or that they haven't been targeted. I would anticipate that they will stay in until they at least can get their hands on some kind of a target before they are escorted quietly off the field.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I'm trying to find photos here to insert of like the various starters. I got nothing because the last game, none of these guys played other than the offensive line. Yep. So I think the offensive linemen, keep an eye out for them. They might get a little more extended time. They need that time. They need that time together. Here, we'll show Coach T. Coach T, what are you going to do? How are you going to manage these guys? How are you going to make sure everyone leaves Pittsburgh healthy?
Obviously, the first thing we're going to do is make sure, hey, you're not supposed to, go back to him. There you go. Obviously, we're going to be on a moving train, and, we're going to appreciate what we get, and we don't take it for granted, and that's where we're going. And we're going to put the work in, and the work will get done.
I was trying
sharpening iron.
I was trying to get you because you're like looking down, almost like you're in channeling your inner Tomlin.
I was trying to channel my inner Tomlin. Yeah. I don't know if I have one, but I was trying.
So defensively, Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, Patrick Queen. I think those guys play. TJ Watt
ought to play a little. Whether a little. I'm going to go no. Our big man's not playing.
I'm setting you up.
He's not going to play.
Cam Heyward, man.
He's not going to play.
We thought differently, and you hit the nail on the head, my friend. Although we had it wrong, we thought it was all hullabaloo. But you had said he's got all of these platforms he could speak on. If he were unhappy, he would say so. And lo and behold, he comes out right after we do the show and says he's unhappy. So what do we think of the Cam Heyward sit in, sit out contract? Thinking, he has an okay point, but goodness, Cam, why did you wait until now? Now, were you just unhappy that everyone else got their contracts ripped up and is getting paid this offseason? Like, what caused it now? You know what I mean?
I'm gonna solidly land in Team Cam here, as opposed to Team Steelers. Mm-hmm. And here's why. If in fact he reached out to them in February and had told them, because I believe Cam is a man of his word. He told them last year, hey, if I make All-Pro, I'm coming back to ask for more money. And perfectly legitimate. If he started that process in February and it's simply taking this long for the team to want to get something done, the player has to do what he does. Look, Cam, somebody out there provided what I think is reasonable insight. Cam's 35, 36, 34? I don't remember. He's up there in age as it goes for a football player.
36.
36. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if this is his last season. And he decides to be done after this one. But even if it's not, what's he got left? 2, maybe 3 more seasons? He's trying to get paid what he's worth based on what he's doing, and knows that his earning potential is a shortened time frame now. It's perfectly understandable. On top of that, you got guys like Jonnu Smith got more money. Jalen Ramsey got more money. These guys they're nothing as far as historically with the team, right? Cam is a one jersey guy, Walter Payton Man of the Year award winner, who has played at a Hall of Fame level with this team and continued to do so last season after recovering from the injury that he had. I think legitimately, if I'm him and I'm watching everybody else open up the checkbooks and get their wallets a little fatter, and I know I flat out told you if I perform, I'm coming back and asking for more money, the perfectly legitimate thing for him to do. I'm not saying the Steelers will or won't. I'm sure they will work something out with him, whether it satisfies him or not. I don't expect Cam to miss one snap of the regular season, but I don't expect him to play one snap in preseason without that contract being written.
Yeah, I hear you. And here's where you're right on being Team Cam. I'm not really even in the middle on this. He is, kind of underpaid. I should maybe even grossly underpaid at his position versus performance against his peers. But he's still solidly paid. He's actually, it's set up here overthecap.com, which is what I'm showing on the screen for those of you that are on the video feed here. 6.89. So if you round that up, he's 6.9% of the Steelers' salary cap charge for this season. Nice. Now next season, maybe not so much. The cap will go up, but the only thing he's got for next year, he's got a very healthy roster bonus, but he is guaranteed absolutely nothing. And this big number here, this 14.2, is what the Steelers could say, well, you're old and no longer of use to us, so bye-bye. But they could also still kind of hold the contract over his head and say, hey, you need to show up, you need to do these things, or we'll fine you, etc. And so this does lean a little more toward the player. If he did come out and say this stuff earlier, and then it's like, well, this is how the Steelers are, and this has been Mark Caboli's whole thing. Steelers operate in the final year. They don't usually do it like 2 years out. Mark, yes, okay, I agree with that. But if they were talking about maybe doing something during camp, and then all of a sudden before camp breaks, Watt becomes the highest paid non-quarterback in league history, and you've got all of this other money being thrown around, these other moves, then you're sitting there, you're waiting, you're being patient, and you're like, hey guys, what's going on? And then all of a sudden it's like radio silence. What recourse does that player have now? You make a stink toward the end of camp, and you can't run drills and all these other things properly. But man, I feel like the Steelers have such a golden opportunity here with the talent, with the depth that they have on this team. Cam needs to be there, and a lot of the moves that this front office has made is because they want to try and give a guy like Cam Heyward, a guy like TJ Watt, a chip, that they deserve that chip because they have been with this team for so long and have come up close but no cigar so many times. So that's where I'm just kind of like timing, but what else can he do? And I don't think he misses any of the regular season either, Brian. But this game Saturday, that's supposed to be the topic of the show. Yeah, he'll be in street clothes. If something gets done before then, which doesn't seem likely at this point, yeah, then I think he'll play. Otherwise, no, I don't think he does. And look, just go back. I mean, Polamalu is likely my all-time favorite Steeler, right? Probably supplanting Jack Lambert during that tenure. And think about how it ended with Troy, right? There was animosity there. Troy believed he had more left. The Steelers didn't. And there is a difference. Troy wasn't playing at an all-pro level when Cam was all-pro last year. Maybe, one of the top 3 linemen in the entire league from the defensive side of the ball. Still well respected, still, absolutely dominant in what he was doing. So it's not apples to apples and saying, hey, this is how the Steelers do business. And I honestly, I think we have to throw out the whole this is how the Steelers do business arguments anymore, since over the last 2 years, yeah.
They don't do business the way they used to do business. I don't even know how they just go about doing business means anymore. They're turning the page, becoming more modernized or something. I don't know.
They remind me so much. I said this to my cousin about the LA Rams. You know what? I forgot something during the intro too, and I know we don't have it on deck necessarily, but I don't usually catch all of the news in time, and it's usually not stuff I talk about on this particular program. But not one, but two congratulations for kids being brought into the world, babies being born for Zach Frazier and Christian Kuntz, and the announcements from the Steelers' social media within an hour of one another. So it had to be recent. Yeah, two guys who snapped the football for a living. And I joked, so since I just brought up my cousin there as part of that too, he sees Christian Kuntz in the most crazy places, like a random giant eagle. I think he saw him at a Penguins game a year ago or something like that. And he would be the guy, my cousin, that could pick Christian Kuntz out from a crowd, and he took a picture of like him coming down the hill from camp. The guy recognizes my cousin Brad now, and I don't think he knows him by name, and he was like, oh yeah, this guy. And I'm like, man, he thinks you got the hots for him or something. So I texted him, I said, is it yours? I just couldn't help myself on that one. So, but congratulations to those guys.
You're like, okay, giant eagle, he's a giant eagle. Let me go over to Christian's house. I can, hey,
I'll bring the wine.
I'm just telling you, I wouldn't want to be the guy that is backdooring Christian Kuntz's wife.
Oh man, so. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of funny. A little bit of bromance there. It was just more of it was bred out of a joke of my cousin's ability to pick. Like, you see somebody walking by and he was like, oh yeah, that's so and so. That even happened with Kevin Colbert. I've told that story about being at a Penguins game. We were there a little early. I knew somebody who worked in like the operations there, and right out of the club. And this was like a few days after the draft when they drafted Colin Holba, the long snapper, right? Because it was like I had the most perfect smart ass thing to ask Kevin Colbert. It was him. It was one of those things where it was like, nah, that's not him. Yeah, it is him. And I was like, hey, Kevin. And he turns around. And then I'm like, oh shit, what do I do next? I didn't have a follow-up really thought of. I should have been like, so long snapper.
There you go. Long snapper, right? Best question.
In round 6,
Kevin.
right?
That was my question. Hey, Kevin. It's funny. Like, I am the exact opposite of that. I don't know who anybody is. Like, I couldn't recognize anybody out in the real world. I could pick them out on the screen, right? We have this, 2%er moment here. I know we're going to talk about football again in a second, but I'm bleeding off into another thing. My wife and I have this game, right? The game is what else did you see that person in, right? I suck at it. I am the worst, right? I'm all like, oh, hey, isn't that guy? And she's like, no, you idiot. That is not that guy from whatever. Every now and then, I will pick somebody out and go, that's this person grown up and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, you're wrong. And then I'm right. And it's like, that is the greatest moment ever. Because I'm like, never right. I'm 100% wrong. I could probably walk by you out in the world and go, I don't know who that is. Excuse me.
Well, that's a good segue for who the F should we be watching other than the starters. But I'm the same way, dude. I'm out there in the world. I've been coaching my daughter's rec league soccer teams for the last 3-4 years, and there's a very nice lady. I talk to her almost every weekend at the games, and I still can't remember her name. I think it's Becca, but I forget it constantly. I have such a lapse, the goldfish memory that's sinking in. I've found that term somewhere, and now it's stuck in my head. I've been saying it a lot for these shows, but no, goldfish memory. I think here with who else should we be watching? I mean, last week everyone got like really really excited about Skylar Thompson, and I'm not sure how much Skylar Thompson's going to get in this game. Does he get the whole second half? Like,
probably. Although, who's the other guy? The other guy they brought in,
Logan,
to be Logan, whatever his name is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't want to interrupt you there.
In this game. He wasn't going to get any time last game because he was too new. He'll get some of it this game, I would assume. Again, it's going to be Aaron for a little bit in the first half. I think Mason will get the rest of the first half, and then whatever is left will be divvied up between Skylar Thompson and. I mean, realistically, have they not seen enough Skylar Thompson? Don't they know at this point? Maybe it's just Logan, whatever his name is. Who they really want to see and who we really want to see is Will Howard, but he's not available. So hey,
yeah. And as much as I want to see him, if he goes out there and his thumb, or whatever finger, whatever happened there, what was it? Finger, wrist, something. It was something in his hand, bone in his hand. I think Tomlin said it was a finger. Jerry Dulac had said it was a wrist or hand, and so it wasn't specific. But he goes out there and he's not 100%, and he's throwing, like wobbly duck looking balls all over the field, that's not going to do him any good. So I prefer he just be healed up as much as I selfishly would like to see something from him. Then we may not see anything till next year. That's the actual truth of the matter. So we shall see. Yeah, Woodside would be somebody you're not going to risk. Howard Woodside, you just throw out there and try and make something stick against the Panthers, probably is my guess. But so moving along, we've got some names maybe to circle, and we'll come back around to who we feel our number one guy is to maybe watch. A lot of flack going the way of Caleb Johnson, rookie running back out of Iowa. I'd like to see him do something for real with the real line, maybe with Aaron Rodgers. Maybe Jalen Warren gets like a carry or two, and then we see what Caleb is capable of doing. I'd like to see Roman Wilson. I think Roman Wilson has had some good rapport with Aaron Rodgers. I think the two rookies on defense. Brian, what do you think? Or actually, I'm sorry, the three rookies on defense, right? I'm pretty excited to see those guys.
Everybody knows I'm a defensive focused guy, but my focus will be Derek Harmon, Yahya Black, and Jack Sawyer. I just want to call him Yahya. I don't know why. I want to call him Yahya, but I know it's Yahya Black, Jack Sawyer, and Derek Harmon. Those are the guys I want to see. Why? Because I think Caleb Johnson is important to this team. Caleb Johnson having a solid and good, rookie season is going to be impactful. Roman Wilson is going to be important to this team, but I don't know what I'm going to look for as far as impact from those two guys in a preseason game. I just want to see Derek Harmon, Yahya Black, and Jack Sawyer knock the crap out of people. That's what I want to see, because to me, if they do a solid job in these games against first-team O-lines, maybe second-team O-lines, I think that is demonstrative of what their ability is going to look like, and it's going to be important. So that's what I'm looking at. I've
got one to throw out here I haven't mentioned, and I want to pay more attention to him because I think he'll get more playing time. Are you familiar with the other 78? I was looking for a photo of Yahya Black, and then I thought, much like Max Hurlman last week, this is a name that hasn't popped up on the radar, so to speak. Gareth Warren, Division II standout from Lindenwood, and he stands out as well. 6'6", 333 is what he's listed as. A raw guy on a pro roster, even in camp, at this massive size. And by the same token, last year I was really impressed with Julius Welshoff, who was the international pathway player. I wouldn't mind seeing a little more from him. And we've got some injury notes too, and I kind of want to throw the last name in with some of the injury notes, and that's Kelvin Austin is on this list. And just like mentioning Roman Wilson, I want to see who stands out as a potential. We get into the depth chart battles here, but you got wide receiver 2 stuff. Austin needs to be healthy. I think we need to see if he's going to return punts, because that's another roster spot that gets tied up with maybe someone else who's specialized with that. And the injury notes are pretty short. Joey Porter Jr., all these guys are questionable. They more than likely will play. Alex Highsmith, but depending on how questionable, it's a preseason game. You're not going to want to expose, I think, any of these three players to injury. It's a more serious injury.
I haven't been paying enough attention as to how Alex Highsmith's recovery has gone and what his participation level has been like. I don't assume, if he's still nursing an injury, I don't assume he'll play.
Yeah, I'm with you too if it's too serious. So you still got about 3.5 weeks or so until I mean, now the camp's done. Some of these guys get to go home and get their own treatment too
until home opener.
There you go. Thank you. Depth chart battles, one of the last things we're going to talk about, and the ones that I picked out 3, and I put one more on our list. I know we've been talking about wide receivers and running backs, but man, the wide receiver one. I'm talking about Calvin Austin here, talking about Roman Wilson, talking about even just mentioning Beckham. Like, everybody still thinks the Steelers have to have this, add somebody else to this mix, when I think that the other guy that's going to stand out is already on this roster. And there's some other ones that people, they get their camp, they get into their camp phenom feels, right? They get into the Rock Taylors, you get into Brandon Johnson. Those are guys that I feel like are going to be more adept for the practice squad considerations. But you've got a handful of spots. DK Metcalf's not going anywhere. Calvin Austin's probably not going anywhere. Roman Wilson's not going anywhere. But between Wilson and Austin, who gets more playing time? Does Robert Woods, the elder statesman, is he veteran, experienced, and still good enough to be that fourth guy on the roster? He could offer some return specialization there as well. Then you get into other guys that are some special teams demons. You got Ben Skronik, you've got Scotty Miller, and then yet another maybe practice squad type guy who got a lot of the return duties in the first game, Keyshawn Williams. That's an awful lot of bodies to try and force into. How many wide receivers do they keep? And I mean, when you're talking about maybe having 4 tight ends on this roster already, maybe there's additional running backs. Maybe, they've only kept 2 in the past sometimes, but usually 3. There's not a lot of spots and all the DBs they got. There's not a lot of spots to really carve out to keep maybe more than 1, if not 2 of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, look, I really... we used to say they keep 3 running backs because we would add Connor Heyward in there as a fullback. I think they keep running 3 running backs because it's going to be, Caleb Johnson, Gainwell, and Jalen Warren. That's 3 backs. You're not putting any of them anywhere else. All 3 of those guys, I think, are making this team. All of a sudden, that's a spot where we used to have that overlap. Like Connor Heyward was both the tight end and the fullback. You're not getting that anymore. And so does Connor Heyward make this team as a tight end with that group that they already have? You've got 3 in Washington, Janu and Pat. So that's, as you said, the spots start to run out real fast when you're dealing with a 53. I know that there's special rules for certain things that they keep and practice squads expanded and all that. But when you're trying to cut to 53, man, those spots are going to fly off the board because there are just a lot of guys you're not going to cut.
Yeah, and one that I didn't Johnson, he's not going anywhere as a rookie. Gainwell has impressed me more than I thought he would. I thought he'd be lower end of the totem pole here, but Trey Sermon has impressed me equally as well. And I know he's been a journeyman, he's been around. He's another one of these names, right, that has been a journeyman, has been on several different rosters over the years, and he's got some experience. He's somebody I think that they had an eye on in the draft process, like I said, and they just added somebody else, or they were looking at somebody, or they worked somebody else out. Now the name's escaping me, and I'm like, they fit into that same kind of category. Maybe Gainwell, actually, probably another one where they come back around after they're done or they're finished up with their original team for whatever reason. These are players that they've identified, and they put them in. Nobody knows this is going to age us, Brian. A Rolodex. They put them in the Rolodex. What's a Rolodex? They put them in the Rolodex, and you go back, you find a business card later, and you're like, that guy. I remembered. I bumped into this guy a couple of years ago. Thought Steelers material. I think Trey Sermon, but I also do believe that Trey Sermon could be more practice squad candidate as well, because there's just not going to be 6 wide receivers, 4 tight ends, including Heyward as that hybrid or H-back type, and 4 running backs on this final roster. You're just not going to be able to do it when you need offensive linemen and 3 quarterbacks, and then half the other squad's got to be at least your defense, right?
I really just can't imagine that they're going to be 4 running backs. That, to me, I just don't see that happening. Could happen. Anything's surprise. I don't buy into that. I think it's 3. And they have gone, I think they went 6 wide receivers one year, but normally it's around 5.
Even last year they may have, because Scotty Miller held a kick for Boswell when Cam Johnston got hurt in the Atlanta game last year. Did you hear
that Boswell wants more money too now?
Does he? I did not hear that one. I did not know.
Chris Boswell is making noise because he's not the highest paid kicker in the league, and he's the best kicker in the league.
Well, he's got a very good argument on both of those cases. Omar, this is what happens when you open the strings to the purse.
Yep.
So
everybody wants a little bit more.
Everybody wants some scratch, and that the sweet league money, the ESPN mergers and everything else going around.
I don't understand any of that stuff. What the hell's going on with all that? I tried to follow it, and I was like, I don't know. Maybe we have to do a show about it, and then I'll learn.
I think what I've learned is that the NFL has a 10%, maybe somewhat of a say. They have ownership now of ESPN, and maybe you won't have that story come out about, or maybe you will, about that head of the NFLPA that was expensing strip club activities and everything. But
well, it'd come out somewhere else, just not on ESPN.
Yeah, but ESPN means it's like boom, it's in your face, right? If it's like, I don't know, stadium sports or something.
Does it still mean that anymore? Like, how much do you actually watch ESPN anymore? Do you like Sports Center back in the day, right? When back, Chris, whatever his name was on there,
Chris Berman.
Chris Berman. That was like must see TV. If you were a sports fan, you had to watch Sports Center every night. It was tune in. I haven't put ESPN on except when it's a college game or a pro game in forever. I don't watch it at all.
I can't disagree with you on that. Swinging back to position battles, I got one more for you. We were kind of starting to head that direction. Punters, and I think they only got like an actual kick or two apiece, but they were alternating last week. Cameron Johnston and Corliss Waitman. Johnston still looks like he's got the boom to his kicks. I don't even know if I talked about this in my training camp review, but
I think you did. Your punter ball.
Yeah, it's Waitman's still good. But I mean, I think Johnston has the opportunity to be great. Now, when you're talking about dollars and cents and you're comparing, nickels and dimes and whatever, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to pan out. But Johnston's recovered. He's also still wearing number 5. So I wonder when the shoe's going to drop on that, since Jalen Ramsey is sharing that number currently. I think Ramsey's going to win that argument. I don't think Ramsey's going to have to spend much to get that number off of Johnston either, because there aren't any Johnston jerseys floating around that they're going to have to buy out of inventory for him to change numbers or anything like that. But we shall see. That's one to watch. So with all of that said, Brian, who are you most excited to see on Saturday? You got to pick one guy.
I'm going to throw everybody for a loop, because I just did my whole rant on how all I want to see is defense. I want to see that. I actually want to see Aaron Rodgers, because I haven't watched anything else. And so I want to see Aaron Rodgers to know whether or not I'm going to be happy or not.
My friend, you stole it. I didn't think you were going to go there. I was saying Aaron Rodgers too. It's got to be. This is the must-see TV guy that we've got to see. So I want to see how it works. I want to see it all come together. I want to see Kenny Pickett against the Buffalo Bills 2-3 years ago in preseason. That's what I want to see. I want to see him light up the scoreboard. That's what I'm excited to see.
This is part of it too. This is going to be very trite and ridiculous, but it is part of it. After all the hubbub about his helmet, I want to see the spaceship helmet he is being forced to wear.
Damn, I had that photo and I had it queued up. Somewhere, and I think I don't have it right now. Oh my god, that helmet, he looks like the cartoon. Is it like, it wasn't like the Jetsons, but it was like another Hanna-Barbera one, the guy with the big spaceship helmet. I can't think of the name now.
The great Yahoo from the Flintstones,
something like that.
Or
Great Gazoo or whatever.
The Great Gazoo, yes,
yeah, that was
at the point that the Flintstones jumped the shark.
I was gonna see if I could find it real quick, but I mean, I'm not that fast sometimes, quick on the draw. Oh, wait a minute, I spoketh too sooneth. Let's see, this won't be the best. This will be about as close as we can get, though. Look at that thing, man. And that offers adequate protection, I think, though. But he almost looks like Dark Helmet from Spaceballs.
Spaceballs 2 coming soon.
The quest for more money or whatever, right?
Yes, the quest for more money.
That'll be great. May the Schwartz be with you, everyone. That'll do it for us. Brian, tickets spoken for yet or not? Did anybody watch the last show?
No, they're still there.
Yeah.
Anybody wants them, find me. Ask me, they'll be transferred to you within minutes, because I ain't going.
Yep. So if you want to go see the Aaron Rodgers debut, that's what we're selling you here. Get a hold of Brian. He'll get you some free tickets.
If he doesn't play, don't come back at me and yell about it, because I have nothing to do with it. But yes, it's the Aaron Rodgers debut game. You need to go.
Yes, it's a milestone. Anyways, I've been there for many other debuts, such as Kenny Pickett. So that'll do it for us, folks. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I don't have anything else for the 2%ers because I already mentioned Odell Beckham Jr. If you have an opportunity, leave us a rating or review wherever you may be. Thank you for supporting. Oh, what do we got?
What is this?
A 2%er. Ooh, the Cars. You got some vinyl, Brian.
It's vinyl.
Yeah.
Oh, it's vinyl.
Hey,
I just hooked up a new turntable, and I'm very excited to play some vinyl.
Oh well, you're behind the times, dude. Even for being, do you have an old collection?
Well, no. I've had. You know how many copies of this particular album I have had in my lifetime? Probably 1,000. Because I used to buy them and sell them, and then I'd go, you know what? I want all my records back, and I'd buy them all again, and then I'd sell them all again. So, you know.
I'm trying to think. I've got a decent amount, but I only buy stuff that I could like leave on and play a lot. You know, just there has to be something like the Eagles, for example. I've got. What are you doing over there, man?
I spilled my water.
Oh, that's what that was. I saw you. I thought it was actually empty. It didn't seem like there was a whole lot in there. But anyways, vinyl discussions. You know what? 2%ers, leave it in the comments. What is your must-have vinyl? And we'll come back around to this and see if it's in one of our collections. Brian, dry yourself off.
I can tell you right now, I don't actually have my must-have vinyl yet. Ooh. So, because I didn't have anything anymore. So I bought like 5 albums, and none of them were my must-have, so I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Yeah, we'll leave that. Yet. I think that's a good.
Because I don't even know if I can get my must-have vinyl anymore.
Yeah, some of them are tough, man. There's some expensive records that are out there.
All of them are expensive. They're ridiculous.
You got to know where to find, where to look. I was looking. I'll give you just one before we sign off here. I was looking forever for a decent price on Fleetwood Mac Rumors. Found it. The cover isn't in the best of shape, but I got it for only like $16, so I was happy with that purchase. That was but that was a tough one
for a used record.
Yes.
See, $16 for a used
I know, man.
record.
It was in good the record was in good shape.
Ridiculously pricey. It's insane.
Don't get me into video game collecting too, man, because everyone
forget that. I saw something that was $400. It was supposedly the rarest game ever, and I'm like, who the hell wants
it's
that?
way more than that. There's one at my local shop. I think it got like the one, it's like the Bandai Sports Track and Field or something. We're really jumping the shark on this, but it was like $10,000 or something.
That's ridiculous.
NES game. Oh yeah, it was super rare. Those guys always come up with amazing stuff at that store. Leave that also for a future podcast or show, because I picked up a Virtual Boy last year. I finally went and got myself a Super Nintendo, and I had to clean it up. It was dirty and everything else. I've been having fun with that stuff, but we'll leave it there, folks. It was fun actually going into the Super Nintendo stuff and finding some of the NFL games that they used to make, Emmitt Smith football and stuff like that, or looking at one of the old Maddens. They're fun. So all those old rosters. So we'll leave it at that. Till next time. Hopefully this was an engaging conversation for everyone out there. Let us know what's your must-have vinyl, and if you're into game collecting, I could throw something in there about that too, because I've been having fun playing a lot of the retro stuff. My 11-year-old has some fun playing Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Game Boy, all those things too. So we'll talk about that another time. Until then, my name's Joe. His name's Brian. As always, we encourage, as we close the show, I've been screwing up closing the show for several episodes now, so let's get it right, folks. We encourage everyone out there to be safe, be good, and we'll catch you later.
You did it.
We would like to thank you for listening and remind our listeners to follow us on social media and our website, www.steelcityunderground.com.